Hello students, and welcome to the week 8 example 4 video. So in this example we will be doing synchronous modeling. So if you have watched that extra video that I gave you, you already be familiar with synchronous modeling. It's essentially if you have a part where you have no feature history, like this one. This is just a body. For instance, if you get it from another CAD system, or if you have a very big part and you had to just get rid of all the features because it started to become too large to work with effectively, then you just throw everything away, you just have a body, but now you need to make edits to it. So that's where synchronous modeling comes in, very useful. So in the sketch for this example, you will also see that not all the dimensions are given for this part. Only the dimensions for things that have to change are given. So let's get started with that then. So the first big change is that this, I want to say this cylinder, this barrel sort of moves a lot forward. So we will start with that, and the easiest way to do that is I'm going to orient myself to the right side, and then say move, and then we're going to select just all these faces over here. Okay. So then you'll see that everything, including that blend there in the middle, or then the inside, it's all selected. So now I can say, okay, I want it to be a distance between points. The reason for that is the dimensions given to you is from the origin until the front of the part. So we don't tell you how much it moves forward. We just tell you what must be the final dimension. So that's where distance between points works very well. So the origin is, well, the origin, conveniently. And then the measurement point is here, this front face, or you can just use the point of this circle. And the vector is in this direction, so the y-axis, technically the negative y-axis. And then this dimension should be 300. So then enter, there we go. You see everything moved from here to here. Very simple. Okay, now it says that the distance between this face and this face is 200, but you must notice that is a reference dimension. So it's just to make sure that you actually did move it correctly. So you're just going to measure it, measure object, this face and this face, and then we have the minimum distance as 220, and there are two parallel faces, so that is the distance, so that is correctly then. Okay, so then we also give you a dimension for this inner radius, and you see that's not a reference dimension. So first I'm going to change my view to clip section. I'm going to show you just how to add it if you don't know. So you can add it there by saying edit section and then choosing about which plane everything is cut. So that one's good. I'm just going to then turn it on then again here. So it says that the distance from, again from the back to that edge over here is now 250. So let's check what is it at the moment. So from there to there, it's 260. So that one was not supposed to move with all the other ones. It was supposed to move, but not that far. So now we can just go and move it a little bit back. So now that you know the distance, you can just say move your distance and just move it 10 back. Or you can actually just specify the way it's given so that you are sure that it is correct. So your origin point is, there we go, the origin. I think they actually selected the center of the circle, but it doesn't matter. And then be careful which one you select here. It's still the furthest edge, so over there in that direction, and it should be 250. Show result, there we go. They just moved that a little bit in. Okay, so that's all that we want to change on the inside of this. So I can go back to view and just turn the clip section off, so that I can work with the part as is. Okay, so next you can see that we need to change some of the holes here at the top. So at the moment, the diameter is 7 times 2, so 14, but we want to change that to 20. So for that, we can use a few different things. We can use not radius face, yes, radius face. We can use radial dimension. We can also use resize hole. And since this is a hole, this one will be the best option to use. If you use this, and you also have the option of changing the type of hole and a bunch of these things, but we just want to change the diameter, so we'll just keep it simple. So select this one, select this one. The diameter is currently 14, we want it to be 20. Show result, there we go, we just enlarged it Okay. Very easy. Okay, so now, so we have that. Then we have to change these radii. So at the moment they are, they have a radius of 12, but we want to change that also to 20. So now you can use resize blend. That's a very good option because this is a blend. You can also use radial dimension. Radius face may not work exactly correctly the way you want it to work because it will fix the center point of it, and we don't necessarily want to change that. So the best to use is resize blend, as it is a blend that we want to resize. So you can just select that, and say its radius should be 20. There we go. Then that's finished. Okay, so now we have those. So I'm basically working from top to bottom at the moment. So now we have that angle for this face over here and this face over here. So there's a very specific way you need to do this. So a lot of students did it incorrectly last time. So if I go to move face, that won't work. I'll show you now why. If you say angle here, then first of all you select the face you want to move, so this one, and then the vector. Okay, you want to move around that, but now it rotates it, the axis point, so you now need a point around which you need to rotate it. Now the angle is specified to this XY plane. Now you don't have a point really there to rotate about that's in line with this, so you just need an angle for that face. But if you choose this point, now it's going to rotate it about a point that's not in line with the face, so it's problematic. If you use this point, it's also not correct. It's going to, because it's now pivoting around this point where this point should actually be moving. So move face will not be the correct feature to use for this specific one. For this one, you want to use another one, angular dimension. So at dimensions, there we are. So here we want to change the angular dimension. So origin object, select that first, then measurement object, that's this face, and then we can just select on which side we want the dimension to be. We want it to be on this side, 95, enter, there we go, that looks the same as the reference, apply, and then we want to do the same thing for the other side. So now it's on this side, 95, there we go. And now you can also see it didn't pivot around this point, it physically moved that point over. So if you had pivoted around that point, it would have been incorrect. Okay, so now we have all those top things. Now we move down to the bottom. So first I'm going to jump to the left sketch, or let me quickly show you. If you don't move to the left sketch, you see here's an angle to put in for this face. The problem is you have edge blends, and then if you change that angle, you're going to start interfering with that edge blend and it won't work. So you will see on the left side there, it says no edge blends. So those edge blends have to be removed. For that, it's very simple. You can just use delete face. So here's also very important to not freak out if NX starts to complain. So if you start selecting, you see here, it doesn't want to work. But just keep selecting the faces and then you'll see NX will start to realize, oh, okay, it can actually work. So just select them all and then you can see, okay, it looks correct. Okay, apply, there we go. That's then correct. So now we can change the angle of that face. So for that, I'm going to be using move face, and you will also see the reference dimension of 65 from the XY plane to this edge down here. We can zoom in there to this edge. So we can just quickly measure. Zoom out. And so from this plane, oh sorry, I want to not have an object set, but just an object. So from this plane to this object, and since I use the plane, it will use the vertical distance. You can also measure with a vector, then it works better if you don't have a plane to measure from. But we have a plane, so we'll use that. So you see this distance is 65. So that means this face rotates about this line. So now we can use move face. So we're going to select this one, and then we want to use angle, specify the vector, so it's one of these two, and then axis point. So we want this line, so just this point that's on this line. Then you can just move it a little bit, to see that it's going correct and just specify to be 20, enter. Okay, there we go, that's then specified. So then we only have one dimension left, and that is the radius here at the bottom. So currently, if we use the measure tool again, we see that this radius is 25, but it should be 20. So for this one, we again have a few options. Resize blend might work. Let's see if it actually works. So if we say this should be 20, and we say, okay, that does not look the same. So Control Z, so clearly we must not use that tool. So now let's quickly see, because you see, essentially it changes the radius and just extends the face down, if that makes any sense. So that's why it moved it sort of down there. So let's quickly check here. The receive radiate face will work. I already know which one will work, but I'm testing some of the other ones to show you what might happen if you use the other ones. So if we say, no, we don't want to offset, we want to actually specify what the radius is. We want to make it 20. Let's say show result. There we go. So that looks correct. So if we sort of go here and make our selection filter to be, let's make it edge. You see its center point, these two center points are the same, which is correct. As you can see by the sketch, the arrow points toward the same center point. So that did in fact work. So that one will work. However, it's not the one that I originally used. So you can see two different ones will work, because I actually used the radial dimension one. So if you select it here and make this 20, it does the exact same thing. So here you have the option of using either, but the resize blend wouldn't work. So essentially, when you do this, you have to essentially use your common sense and say, is the change that's being made, does it look like what I'm provided with? And if it doesn't look like it extends it down, then you clearly know, okay, this is the incorrect feature to use. Okay, and that is all of them. So let's quickly just run through them. No edge blends. Yes, I removed the edge blends. The radius 20, I just did that. The 65, it's still 65. We can verify that from here. Object, not object set. So from here to down here, 65, that's correct. 95, we added both of them. These 20 holes, this distance we checked, this whole distance we moved, this inside distance we specified, and we added the angle. So there we go. That's the whole part. So it's very simple. It's just working carefully and selecting the right things and using the correct tools. So yeah, I hope that helped, and enjoy the rest of the videos. Cheers.